All right, let's continue here. Now, there's more. There's more fun news. This article just came out. Now, as many of you know, on the other show, Untroubled Minds, we talk about UFOs quite often, and there's a whole range of things to talk about with UFOs. Clearly, I think at some point you can't really say, are they real? I think definitely, most people understand that UFOs are real, being that a UFO stands for unidentified flying object, right? So that means there's things in the sky that we don't know what they are. And it could be foreign adversarial stuff. It could be our own technology that we're kind of playing coy with so that Russia or China doesn't catch wind that we're doing, shenanigans. Who knows? And that's part of the conversation, right? So just by bringing up UFOs, it doesn't necessarily mean little green men, though the implication could be there as well. Interdimensional stuff, all kinds of whack stuff. But anyway, the point being is that we do talk about UFOs often on the other show, and we pay attention very closely to what happens in the news cycle regarding UFOs. We have basically individuals like George Knapp that have been reporting UFOs for a very long time. He's actually a reporter here in Las Vegas, and he actually broke the Bob Lazar story back in 1989, if you guys remember that. And so he from time to time he'll break new stories. He'll have new information. He'll have photographs that supposedly come from the government, things like this. And so not just him, but kind of the other news in the UFO community we pay a close attention to, because you never know, like some interesting things pop up. And we may do a whole show on this coming up next week on Troubled Minds, because there's a lot in this article that I'm about to share here. I did link it. Okay, so it's linked in the chat. Now check this out. So for those of you that aren't really aware of the UFO, let's say, mythology, the timeline, the drama from all the way back from Roswell in 1947 to what's going on today, okay? There's been a lot between here and there. This article is actually pretty amazing for somebody who's interested in UFOs but doesn't know all the names, right? If I say George Knapp or Lou Elizondo and you're like, who are those guys, right? But you want to know, this article is fantastic, because let me show you. I'm going to just buzz through this, and I'm going to grab the sidebar here and scroll. Look, this is literally a huge mega article, really framing the entire UFO conversation from Roswell in 1947 all the way to the present day. Like, it's an unbelievable job done by this guy. Gideon Lewis Krause is the guy's name that wrote this. And it's a really, really great article. It's probably take you 20 minutes to read, 25 minutes, something like that, depending on how fast you read. But I highly recommend it if you're interested in UFOs at all and what's actually going on today with the topic and with the media and everything. This is kind of like your go-to source. I'm going to save this. I'll actually pin this up in the Discord. So if anybody wants to kind of catch up to the modern day ufology, you've got it. You've got it right here. Ufology, I guess you would say. But anyway, so there's a lot here. So it starts with Stephen Greer, right, in May 9th, 2001, and kind of goes through. Again, they touch on Roswell. They touch on Leslie Kean, who's a writer that's been interested in UFOs for a very long time, and wrote that famous piece in the New York Times in 2017, which kind of jump-started the entire, the Tic Tacs and the Nimitz incident and the rest of that stuff. Like I said, if you're not familiar with any of that or kind of sketchy on the details, this article is for you, because it literally details almost everything. What's up, Dibber? Says Stephen Greer is a con man. And I can't really say I disagree with you there. But he's changed a lot. I think in 2009, he probably was a little different of a person, in my opinion, than he is today. But whatever, right? So change for the better, change for the worse, whatever you want to call it. But okay, so anyway, now, like I said, this article kind of covers it all. But now there's something very specific in here that I want to point out that's new. So many times when an article comes out, gets a bunch of fanfare, everybody's excited on Twitter about it, all this stuff, right? It's not new stuff. Many times it's like regurgitated stuff. It's like, some official citing something from the past or something like this, right? But in this one, check this out. There's actually a line in here discussing Harry Reid, right? Everybody remembers the actual Senate guy from Nevada that was Senate Majority Leader for a very long time, and has recently retired in the last. Chuck Schumer took his place. So as long as Chuck Schumer's been around, this guy's been retired. Okay, Chuck Schumer as the Senate leader for the Democrats. Anyway, I digress. But now there's a new thing in it, and I'm gonna link this here, and this is the important part. And thanks, Fox, for the autoplay. All right, so we have this. I'm going to link it, and this is straight from that one mega article that I wrote. And headline is this. This is from Fox News. Former Senator Harry Reid thinks Lockheed Martin may have UFO fragments. All right. Now you think about that, and it's been rumored quite a lot that Robert Bigelow. Again, if you don't know these names, check out that other article. They're all in there. You're going to get Harry Reid, Robert Bigelow. You're going to get Lou Elizondo. You're going to get all Stephen Greer. You're going to get Leslie Kean. Tons of people in that article. They talk about Roswell. They talk about the cover-up. They talk about all kinds of stuff. Read it if you haven't. If you want to get caught up, like I said, I can't recommend it enough. But in that article, about 2/3 of the way down, they have a quote from Harry Reid where he says this. He says, quote, "I was told for decades that Lockheed," which of course means Lockheed Martin, a government contractor here in the States, that builds airplanes and all kinds of secret stuff. So he quote, "I was told for decades that Lockheed had some of these retrieved materials," the Democrat told the magazine. "And I tried to get, as I recall, a classified approval by the Pentagon to have me go look at the stuff. They would not approve that," Reid continued. "I don't know what all the numbers were, what kind of classification it was, but they would not give that to me." Now, basically, if you're the Senate Majority Leader or Minority Leader, if you're in the the minority of the party at the time, you would expect to have clearances as high as anything, right? Like you would actually be top of that list to be able to see these things. But if he's being truthful here and remembering correctly, because he says, from my memory, he says, "as I recall." Okay, so that's political speak sometimes for just talking out your ass, right? So who knows? Who really knows here? But he said this, right? Is that he tried to get access to UFO material. Actually crash. I mean, right? And said that Lockheed Martin had access to this. Okay. Now that's the weird part about all this is this is really kind of the bombshell from that first article on the New Yorker there that I linked, is that the statement inside this article is that Harry Reid says this, that Lockheed Martin may have actual crash debris from UFOs. Or pieces of these things, and which of course kind of fits the narrative of the Bob Lazar thing, right? Is that he said that in 1989 he was working out at Area 51, and they had actually hired him to reverse engineer UFOs. All right. Well, if that's really the case, and Senator Harry Reid, now ex-senator, retired, says that he tried to get UFO fragments, debris, crash debris, whatever you want to call it, from Lockheed Martin. And he's kind of corroborating that a little bit, right? He's kind of corroborating that this is, a lot of this stuff may be right, based on I just don't know. Based on what? Based on his memory, based on the fact that he was denied access. He says, I don't know, but doesn't it change quite a lot of things if this is true? If this is true, then he very much is admitting that the government in some capacity, whether it's through private contractors or not, that they are able to have, we found UFOs, crashed UFOs, or shot them down, or whatever, right? Whatever it happens to be. And maybe that's what's in our skies now. Maybe it is reversed UFO stuff, like technology that we're using for ourselves. Who knows? Thank you for the cheer there. I see you, an anonymous cheer. Appreciate that. But now this is the thing, right? All of this, I don't know. Like the thing is, you guys know me. This is, I say on the other show, and I mean it. I don't have the answers here. I'm just trying to parse the information and get to the bottom of this the best I can, logically. Mostly logically. Like everybody else, I want to believe. I want to believe there's little green men. I want to believe that it's possible aliens are here, or have been here, or are soon going to be here. But I don't have those answers. I can't confirm or deny any of that.